the first step and reach out for tomorrow. We live so
Time for an unpleasant blind guy, Conservative Byte.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
From the 1959 movie Teenagers from Outer Space. Some politicians, particularly those who seem to only work for themselves, never can seem to let go of some issues. One of those is failed 2008 presidential candidate and longtime Arizona Senator John McCain. While I respect Senator McCain's service in Vietnam, he has ridden that service into Congress and since then gone astray from his principles in the name of cooperation and, let's be real, to curry favor with progressives and keep his job in the United States Senate. Here's Senator McCain at the Halifax International Security Forum on Saturday, November the 19th, 2016, as posted on YouTube from Lone Wolf Sager with the title, John McCain to Donald Trump. We will not waterboard and torture people.
Oh, great, it's Mr. Torture again.
And to come back to this point about the powers of basically come back to the American Constitution, the powers of Congress versus the presidency versus the Supreme Court. If, hypothetically, things go haywire, what powers does Congress have? Let's use waterboarding as an example because it's so much in the public eye. What powers does Congress have to actually rein in a president who does things which you find intolerable?
Well, first of all, I was observed the panel on the issue of waterboarding. My friends, last year on the Defense Authorization Bill, we had an amendment that said that any agency of government, an interrogation has to be guided by the Army Field Manual. The Army Field Manual specifically states only certain things, techniques for interrogation that can be used. Waterboarding is not one of them. Extremes in temperature is not one of them. There are several others. And so you've got the Geneva Conventions, which we're signatories to, which prohibit waterboarding, and we now have a law. Now, prior to that law, we just didn't do it until this administration. The CIA decided to do it. They cannot do that. If they started waterboarding, I swear to you, there's a whole bunch of us that would have them in court in a New York minute. And there's no judge in America that wouldn't say they're in violation of the law because it's specifically in law now prohibited.
Unless the Army Field Manual is changed, which the executive branch, headed by the president, has the right to do.
So I don't give a damn what the President of the United States wants to do or anybody else wants to do. We will not waterboard. We will not torture. We will not torture people, and sometime I hope we can get David Petraeus up to this forum. He's one of the great military leaders. He'll tell you, it doesn't work. My friends, it doesn't work. If you inflict enough pain on somebody long enough, they're going to tell you whatever they think you want to hear to have it stop.
Operative words there being long enough. People in the short term, torture can work. And that comes from the underground professor who has been trained in such matters, and from others who are trained in such matters.
There's a specific case, colleague Sheikh Mohammed, who gave, under waterboarding, gave false information to those who was interrogating them and sent them on wild goose chases. Whereas there are accomplished interrogators who can gain the confidence of the suspect and gain all the information that they could possibly want. But my God, what does it say about America if we're going to inflict torture on people? It makes it hard for us to make the argument about the moral superiority of our government and our way of life.
Whereas if we allow our civilization to be destroyed because we didn't use every means necessary to gain information, we'll at least be able to pat ourselves on the back and tell ourselves we took a moral stance.
But what about torture?
People, when you have a radical, fundamentalist ideology such as Islam, whose followers are prepared to do anything and everything to achieve a world caliphate, you're in a fight for civilization. It's a hard, dirty fight, and it's one we have to engage in with the same determination that they have. Here's President Donald Trump answering the question of torture at his first press conference with an international leader, UK Prime Minister Theresa May, on January the 27th, 2017.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Laura Kunsberg, BBC News. Mr. President, you've said before that torture works. What do you say to our viewers at home who are worried about some of your views and worried about you becoming the leader of the free world?
We have a great general who has just been appointed Secretary of Defense, General James Mattis, and he has stated publicly that he does not necessarily believe in torture or waterboarding, or however you want to define it. Enhanced interrogation, I guess, would be a word that a lot of people would like to use. I don't necessarily agree, but I would tell you that he will override because I'm giving him that power. He's an expert. He's highly respected. He's the general's general. Got through the Senate very, very quickly, which in this country is not easy, I will tell you. And so I'm going to rely on him. I happen to feel that it does work. I've been open about that for a long period of time. But I am going with our leaders. And we're going to win with or without. But I do disagree. I will tell you one thing. I'll be representing the American people very strongly. Thank you.
People are political leaders, and would-be political leaders have a choice. I, for one, am for using every technique that we can, because I am not prepared to trade one American asset, one American friend, one American city, one American town, or one American life for a false and cheap feeling of moral self-satisfaction so that we can say that we don't do what they do. It's the difference between determined leadership and riding a political hobby horse all the way to the donation checks. This has been an unpleasant blind guy, conservative Byte.
Torture!